Hi everybody, it's the start of week one. I've just put up on the DSO site the topics for assessment task 1. In the tutorial this week, or next week, you'll be asked to choose which of these topics you're going to work on in a small team. And so we'll have probably 5 or 6 people on each topic. This assessment task has 2 components. It used to be just a tutorial paper that you worked on, you chose a topic and you handed it in a few weeks later. And my reaction to that was I didn't think people were getting nearly as much out of it as they could. So a couple of years ago I changed this. The deal now is you actually have to work on it with a group of your fellow students. That means you're all out there looking for information, you are discussing the topics, you're discussing the question and the issues that come out of it, and you're discussing the response you want to make. You then go into a class and you're going to give a 30-minute presentation to that class, and the class will engage in discussion with you and also ask you questions and make suggestions about it. So rather than just writing a 1,500 word paper by yourself, you actually get a lot more experience and support in developing your response on that. So I think that's a much stronger basis for learning than just each student writing a paper. So in class this week or next week, we will ask you to decide which of the 5 topics you want to go. Everybody who signs up for a topic, we said maximum of 5 or 6, will have a DSO discussion group just for that team. In that discussion area, you can place your any resources you find. You can have discussions in there that are not visible to the rest of the class. So your team can be preparing for its presentation in its own private space. When you come to the class, you'll give a 30-minute presentation and other students will give you some support on it. A week later, then you hand in your individual written response to that topic. I've made one change to the assessment task this year based on the feedback from last year's students. I had given originally the group presentation only 10% and the individual written paper 30% to recognise the fact that not everybody contributes equally to the group presentation, and to really recognise that the group presentation was all about strengthening the individual's understanding, and so the work that people do in the group presentation really is given credit when they get to write their individual paper. However, a number of students last year were unhappy. They said, look, we put a lot of work into this group presentation and we want more credit for it. So I'm doing that. We've increased the credit for the class presentation to 15% and decreased the written component to 25%, so that still adds up to the 40% for this task. The other issue students raise, though, is that some members of groups just don't put in. And when that was 10%, it was a problem. Now that the group part is worth 15%, it's a bigger problem. So we're going to be really stringent this year in moderating the mark for the group component to individuals. It isn't just that the group comes along presentation and people who've done nothing get the same mark as anybody else. There'll be 2 things happening this year. I'll be going in to monitor each of those team discussion areas to look for the contribution of each of the students in the team. So if you don't contribute to the team, you're not going to get any marks. The other thing we'll be doing is asking each of the team members to allocate the percentage that they believe each of the students should receive in terms of the preparation for the report. Given that it's only 30 minutes, I don't want all 5 or 6 people presenting. That's just horrific. One person after another standing up and just reading out some notes. So I'm expecting that only some members of the team will actually do the presentation in class, but that all members of the team will be involved in preparing for it. That will be particularly important for some of the off-campus teams where the group where some members of the group may not be able to be present, because I know some people are in time zones that just don't allow them to fit in, but they will still be a member of that team, and as long as they've contributed significantly to the discussion board and the other team members confirm that there's been good contribution, then all members of the team will get it. I'm sure we'll have some more discussions about this in class and online. But anyway, have a look at the topics that are available for the first assessment task. Think about which one you want to do. They start in a few weeks' time. The people who do the first topic will have less time to prepare that, but then they'll have more time for the major paper, which is handed in at the end of the trimester. So it's a bit of give and take. It's the first one's up, comes soon, but then you get lots of time for the second one. The people who do one of the later topics have got more time to prepare, but then they've got less time on their major paper later on. So I think it swings and roundabouts, it all evens out for people. Okay, speak with you later. Bye.